Tiny art, big talent. Discover陈逢显's miniatures. Creating miniature art is very challenging. It requires strong skills, concentration, and most importantly, patience. Chen often spends hours scaling down complex designs onto materials as small as grains of sand. In addition, each cut requires holding his breath for more than a minute. This is because one mistake can cause harm and damage the entire piece. Chen also works on a special project creating miniature animals of the Chinese zodiac out of gold. For example, to celebrate the Year of the Rabbit, 2023, he made tiny gold rabbits. It took him over 100 attempts to perfect 5 sets of these tiny sculptures, each around 1 millimeter. These creations show his patience and hope for a peaceful new year for Taiwan. Chen feels it is his duty to pass down this 3,000-year-old art form to the younger generation. He welcomes students to his museum, where they learn about the skills and the necessity of calming down and staying focused. Through his work, Chen breathes new life into this traditional art, making sure of its survival for many years to come.
Hello everyone, welcome to English for You. I'm Mike.
And I'm Laura.
And we are back here with our very best eyes working, our magnified eyes. I got my contact lenses in. I can see things because we're looking at tiny art.
Okay.
Tiny art.
Miniature
Did I mention
art.
it's tiny? It's miniature art. Made by陈逢显. Thank you.
Got it.
Who was first inspired at our very own National Palace Museum here just outside Taipei City. He saw a tiny olive pit that had
in
been
the form of a boat?
Right, with 8 figures on it, doors, windows, and 300 characters of writing.
Right.
He thought that was pretty cool, so he decided to make his own art. Remember, this is the early 1980s when he started. He was kind of making it up and learning on his own because no one else in Taiwan did this. He couldn't watch YouTube videos about it or anything, so he started to experiment using insect parts as some of his materials. Not his only material, but some of his materials. So that's what we know so far, but we have yet to sort of experience some of his greatest work. So let's get to our article and see what happens next in our journey along with the artist
陈逢显.
Thank you. Creating miniature art is very challenging. Yeah, I know, and water is wet. I mean, come on, tell me something I don't know. These pieces of art are so small you can't even really see them with your eyes. So yes, that is very challenging. We could also say it's very difficult. It requires strong skills, concentration, and most importantly, patience. I would also say a very steady hand and very good eyes. Yeah, do not drink 3 cups of coffee before you start doing this, because all the patience in the world won't help you. But patience is definitely very useful and important, I would say, if you want to become good at anything, whether it's art or sports or magic tricks, whatever you're trying to do. Because being patient is being calm when you are faced with frustration and difficulty and things that might make another person go, oh, no, I'm losing my mind, can't do it anymore. No, you're like, I'm okay, it's calm, whatever, it's okay. We'll just try again. We've tried 62 times, it didn't work. We'll try 63 times. That kind of thing. If you're standing in line for 20 minutes and the line hasn't moved at all, you will need patience. You will need to be patient, which of course is the adjective version. So times when you're under stress, when you could get upset and get annoyed and lose your temper, but you're just calm, you're relaxed, that is patience. For example, Freddie doesn't have much patience when he's driving. He needs to learn to calm down. That's Freddie.
He's a taxi driver, I
No
think.
patience. Oh, that's even worse.
Okay, so concentration. Okay, 我们刚刚其实还看到这个字，就是专注跟专心，这是一个名词哦。还有，当然呢，如果要当这个大师的话，然后做那么小的作品，一定要非常有耐心。Patience 就是耐心这个名词哦。For example, baking cookies with kids, you need patience when they sneak bites of dough every 2 minutes.
Oh, that's no good.
Yeah.
They're going to eat all the cookie before it becomes a cookie. And if you eat too much cookie dough, aren't you going to throw up?
Exactly.
Then you'll need patience because you have to clean the whole kitchen.
Oh, gross.
All right, let's get back to Mr. Chen. Chen often spends hours, I would say even days scaling down complex designs onto materials as small as grains of sand.
I probably can't even see it.
Does he not want to do anything easy? Why this is crazy. So yes, he spends hours scaling down, so we'll see something big in the real world, right? And like, oh, I'm going to make a tiny, tiny version of that. And we might think, making it on a piece of rice or, a little piece of grain or something like that, whatever it is, would be already hard. He's doing, though, complex designs, kind of like complicated, and he's not doing it on a piece of rice. That's way too big. A grain of sand.
Like salt.
A grain is a piece of sand. One piece of sand. Art on the sand. Something that I would go like that.
Exactly.
He makes that into art.
Okay. Wow, that's hard.
It's hard.
刚刚我们有看到一个片语哦，就是 scale something down， 也就是缩小或是缩减，像是规模啊或是数量哦。For example, we couldn't finish the giant sand castle, so we scaled it down to a cute sand turtle. Oh.
All right, yes, we had this word complex. Making art out of a tiny piece of grain or sand is very complex. It's very complicated. That's exactly what complex kind of means. It just means there are many parts to it. It might be hard to understand at first. You might need someone to sort of explain it to you in very simple steps or something like that. Often when I think of complex, I think of the difference between, simple grade 2 math, 2 plus 2 is 4.
Okay.
And university math, 4x over 3y times delta v, this and all different. I don't know what this means. I don't know how to make the answer. I wouldn't know where to start.
No.
That kind of math is very complicated, very complex. You need to know a lot to just understand it. For example, this is a very complex problem. I think I might need to get some advice from an expert, something about like the law or something like that, right? Unless you're a lawyer, you probably won't understand it because the law can be complicated or complex.
Complex 这个形容词就是复杂的，你也可以用 complicated. For example, the project is very complex, so we need to break it down into smaller steps.
That's a good idea.
And we also saw the noun grain. Remember a small tiny grain of sand?
Yeah.
Grain 是什么呢？就是细粒、小颗粒啦。
Yes, exactly. It's kind of funny. We say a grain of sand, but a piece of grain.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Grain is something like wheat or flour or rice is also barley, oat, things like that. So that would be grain, right? We grow grain, but it's very, very small, right? If you've ever seen rice or wheat, it's very small. So a grain of sand just means a piece of sand that is very, very small. In addition, each cut requires holding his breath for more than a minute. So every time he makes a mark on it, imagine someone painting, every time they touch the paper with the brush, they have to hold their breath.
Like scuba diving.
For more than a minute. Why is he doing this? This is because one mistake can cause harm and damage the entire piece.
I don't want to learn this skill.
When you're holding your breath, I guess your body isn't moving so much, right? You're not shaking so much. And so you can control your muscles in your hand. So he is holding his breath for more than a minute to make just one mark. And I guess he has to do that hundreds or thousands of times to make one piece of art out of one grain of sand. Incredible. All right, a breath. That is basically, that's a breath, right? You take air into your lungs, you let the air out. That is one breath. So if you hold your breath, you're probably swimming or something like that, and then you're going to hold it as long as you possibly... Are you still holding your breath?
No.
Oh, come on! I think I just heard recently the person who held their breath the longest in the world, it was something like 28 minutes.
No way!
Yes, and I saw the actress Kate Winslet on a TV show.
Titanic?
She was training for, I don't know if it was Titanic. She actually held her breath for like 9 minutes. Do not try that at home without a lot of training and professional help, but that's the kind of thing you could do. Most of us, I think, if you can hold your breath for 1 minute, that's pretty good. You know, that's pretty good. Let's talk about Sally, though. Sally almost ran out of breath as she tried to blow up the big balloon. Because most of us will take one breath, right, blow up the balloon. But if the balloon is too big, you might run out of breath. You'll have to take another breath while holding the balloon closed.
OK， 所以像是做瑜伽的时候，我们可能叫吸跟吐气，有没有 ？Breath 就是气息或是呼吸的空气，它是一个名词。但是我们用 hold one's breath 就是某人屏住呼吸。那注意哦，如果我们要讲呼吸这个动词，而是要用 breathe。That's totally different. 发音也不同。Okay, for example, watching a scary movie alone, you might find yourself holding your breath when the monster appears.
And then you let your breath out by screaming.
Right, okay. 所以呢，这个创作微型艺术非常具有挑战性哦。那你要需要刚刚有提到很强大的技能、专注力还有耐心。因为他刚刚提到要多有耐心，每一次切割都需要屏住呼吸超过1分钟，因为一个错误可能会对整个作品造成损伤啊。
Okay. I was holding my breath the whole time.
Okay.
No, I wasn't really. Chen also works on a special project creating miniature animals of the Chinese zodiac out of gold.
I think gold should be easier than the sand. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, so
I don't know.
Chinese zodiac.
It's also hard, but it would be cheap because it's very small.
Okay.
Don't need a lot of gold.
Probably. Chinese zodiac 就是12生肖，这是一个名词哦。那 out of something 我们常会用来表示用什么制成的。For example, my friend made a Halloween costume out of cardboard, and it looks surprisingly amazing.
Oh, very, very cool. All right. So, for example, it says, we're talking about, remember, these Chinese zodiac animals. For example, to celebrate the year of the rabbit, 2023, he made tiny gold rabbits. Wow, that's crazy. Of course he did. It took him over 100 attempts to perfect 5 sets of these tiny sculptures, each around 1 millimeter. That's kind of like how thick your fingernail is, or something like that. And it took him over 100 attempts to perfect them, or to make the perfect 5 sets of tiny little creatures, tiny little rabbits. And they're very small.
My eyes are sore hearing that.
It's almost one of those things like I read the words, I know what they mean, but I don't understand it.
I know,
it's still very amazing that someone can actually do this. But yes, you know, but also it's kind of nice to see that this is 2023, just like a year and a bit over a year ago, and he's still not perfecting it all the time. He had to do 100 attempts before he could make the perfect little rabbits. Let's talk about this word attempt. Yeah, so many attempts to make 5 perfect little rabbits. As I said, this is impressive because an attempt is when you try at something. Okay, so if you have your turn in a game, let's say it's your turn to play a video game and you play for a while and you get killed. Well, that turn, that try was an attempt. If you're playing a video game, again, it might be really difficult to pass a level or kill the big boss at the end and you might get killed and you'll have to try again. And again, those are different attempts, okay? So not every time in life will we try something and it works perfectly the first time. Often we will fail and then we'll come back and try again. That would be our second or third attempt, our second or third try to achieve something. After jumping over the high jump bar on his third attempt, Greg won a gold medal. Good for you, Greg.
I'll probably give up just after one attempt.
I wouldn't even make one attempt.
Okay.
Not even
Attempt
once.
是什么呢？就是尝试，就是一个名词哦。For example, my first attempt at cooking pasta didn't go well, but I'm learning.
What happened?
I burnt.
You burnt? How do you burn pasta?
I just
You
forgot.
cook it in water.
Yeah, but I just forgot I was cooking, so
Okay.
I left. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Sculpture 就是雕塑品，这是个名词。那字首我们刚刚有看到 millimeter 嘛，字首 milli 常常与度量单位连用，表示毫啊或是千分之一。所以 millimeter 猜到了吗 ？meter 是公尺或是米，它就是 millimeter 就是指毫米或是公厘。
All right, so absolutely incredible art from our friend Mr. Chen Fengxian, going back to the 80s, still doing it now and still working on his skills. I find that very inspiring. You know, he's never sort of satisfied. He's always like, I can do better, I can go smaller.
Never gives up.
And he will just keep trying. So these creations, as it says, these creations, this art, these creations show his patience and hope for a peaceful new year for Taiwan. I hope he's probably hoping that next year is the year of the snake. Because that's going to be a lot easier.
Oh, okay.
Tiny snakes,
Really?
I could probably make it. It's like a tiny long little piece of
Okay.
gold. It's a snake. It's a snake. Don't ask me to make a dragon.
It probably looks like a worm though.
Well, that's a snake.
Okay.
It's just a nice snake.
Okay, or a maggot. Okay, 所以为了庆祝兔年刚刚我们前面的课文是它是不是有制作很小的那个金兔子啊，然后还尝试了超过100次，因为它只有1毫米的小雕塑，所以这些创作就是 creation 这些作品啊，哇，展示了他的耐心以及对台湾的和平新年的希望。
Chen feels it is his duty to pass down this 3,000-year-old art form to the younger generation. Wow, that is a great thing to do, a very noble cause. He feels it's his duty, it's his job in life, kind of, to pass down or to sort of pass to the next generation, give to young people a passion for this very old art form. So I guess that we're kind of learning that piece of olive from the first one he saw at the museum was 3,000 years old around that. So people have been making tiny art for a really long time and he just wants to keep it going, right? He wants to pass it on. He wants the next generation to continue to pursue this type of very interesting art.
Pass something down 就是把什么知识或是技能往下传承这样的感觉哦。For example, my grandma passed down her secret recipe for dumplings to my mom and me. I didn't burn those dumplings.
Okay, because you also cook them in water.
Okay, generation 这个名词就是代，就是一代这样子。
All right, now if you are a very special and super cool person and want to try this, amazing, I salute you, and there's actually a way you can do that. It says he welcomes students to his museum where they learn about the skills and the necessity of calming down and staying focused and staying patient. And I think that's also a very good skill. Yes, there is the necessity to be very calm, to be very still, to be very focused and patient. These things are necessary. They're important. You can't make art out of sand if you are not calm and focused and patient and all that. So yeah, that's what a necessity is. Something that is necessary, that must be there, that has to happen. It's not a choice. It's not an option. It's not like, yeah, if we have time. No, you always have time because it's a necessity. Without it, you can't succeed. It won't work. For example, I'm selling my car out of necessity because it's costing me too much to maintain. If I keep the car, I won't be able to eat food, and that's not a choice I can make.
Okay, so necessity 这个名词就是必要或是必要性、需要哦。常常我们会用 necessity of， 然后动词 ing， 或者是 something， 就是做某事物的必要性或是需要哦。For example, the necessity of practicing speaking out loud in a new language, even if it's just to your pet, helps you gain confidence and sounds much cooler.
Absolutely. It's all good and well to be able to read and listen and understand, but you have to communicate, and the only way to do that is by actually doing it. Back to the article. Through his work, Chen breathes He breathes new life into this traditional art, making sure of its survival for many years to come. Yes, so through his work and also through, teaching the younger generation. So through doing his work and showing it and talking about, explaining his passion, Chen breathes new life into this traditional art. It's not kind of just stuck in a museum and all the people who did it died a long time ago. No, it's not like that. He's breathing new life into it, making sure of its survival for many years to come. I mean, there's a lot of art that, if we don't continue to do it, it may end up just in a museum. Music and dance and filmmaking, all sorts of things. AI is coming along to do all of these things easily, but it won't be good because it won't come from the soul and the heart and the passion of the artists like Mr. Chen. So the survival of these art forms is very important. Otherwise, the world will be dull. Let's talk about the word survival. What is survival? Survival is basically not dying when you could. That's basically it. So sometimes things will happen in life that could kill you, but survival is not dying. It's living through that very dangerous experience, right? When we are faced with problems that could affect our survival, we'll probably go to a doctor and get tests, and hopefully they'll help us to get better. If we see accidents on the news, they might talk about the people who died, but hopefully no one died. Everyone survived. Okay, that's the verb to survive. Survival would be the noun. So the act of not dying or not dying out, going away. In times of business trouble, many businesses, the survival of many businesses could be a serious problem. Businesses could go out of business. They could close because they don't have the money to continue on. In the same way, art, culture, these things are often threatened. People stop doing it, stop liking it, paying attention to it. So the survival of that art form is in danger. And of course, one of the biggest problems we face now is the survival of us on this planet. For example, global warming is a serious threat to the survival of humans on this planet. Notice I said humans. Trees will probably be here. Mosquitoes will probably be here. We, though, we might not. So our survival is very important, and we got to start working on that.
Survival 是什么呢？它就是存留、幸存，它是一个名词。For example, survival in the desert requires knowledge of how to find water and shade. And we also mentioned the phrase breathe new life into something. 就是替什么什么注入新的活力。For example, rearranging your room can breathe new life into your space, making it feel brand new. We also saw the phrase make sure, 就是确保、确认。Before you leave the house, make sure you have your keys and wallet.
Got him.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we also saw so many phrases, years or weeks or days, etc. to come, 就是在将来的许多年啊，或是许多周、天等等。I'll be telling the story of my karaoke fail for years to come. It was that unforgettable.
Did you burn the karaoke?
No, I didn't. I just sound really bad. I cracked my voice.
I see.
Okay, 所以最后课文就说啦，透过他的作品啊，就是为这种传统艺术注入新的活力，确保它在未来的许多年里得以保存哦。好吧，大家喜欢今天的主题吗？不要忘了按赞、订阅、分享我们的 YouTube 频道和 Facebook 哦。叮。
We got a chat question for you guys. Imagine you can create a miniature version of any object. What will it be and why?
Okay, I think I would create a tiny teddy bear with little heart-shaped glasses and a small backpack filled with tiny treasures like a tiny map and a tiny notebook.
Okay.
Cute, right?
That's very cute.
I think this cute teddy bear would be ready for any little adventure, showing that even small things can go on big adventures.
Wow,
how cute is that?
That is great. What would you make it out of? Sand, salt, rice, gold?
That's a good idea.
Work on that.
Maybe a snack.
You'd make it out of a snack.
Like chocolate.
A tiny little peanut.
Yeah, that'd be cute.
That would be pretty cute. In fact, that might be something that's in the museum. So go check out that museum. Show your respect to Mr. Chen for all of his hard work. It is absolutely incredible. And maybe you will be one of the people inspired to breathe new life into this art form for future generations. I certainly hope so. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Take care of your culture and, of course, the planet. We'll see you back here soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Tiny bye-bye. 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 Vocabulary Review.
Patience. The mayor left quickly because he didn't have the patience to answer so many questions from the reporters. Complex. Complex. I love that authors complex stories. They are full of interesting details, though sometimes they're difficult to understand. Breath. Sometimes in very cold weather, you can see your breath. It looks like smoke. Attempt. In 1969, NASA made an attempt to land men on the moon, which was successful. Necessity. My little brother doesn't understand the necessity of brushing his teeth before bed yet. Survival. The hikers have lots of food and water to make survival possible if they get lost.
智慧小补帖
Concentration. Chinese zodiac. Sculpture. Creation. Generation.